Hi, everybody. I'm Stacey Castor, and I'm here with my good friend Tracy M. Palmer. We are senior leaders and passionate around leadership development. We are doing this Resilient Leaders series, and today we're going to talk about what is a resilient leader. But before we can talk about what is a resilient leader, let's talk about personal resilience. So, Tracy Ann, what is personal resilience to you?
Yeah, well, first of all, good morning, Stacey. So always so great to be with you. You know, when I think about an individual's ability to adapt to stress, adversity, and really a person's ability, what I would call to bounce back from a negative experience to your normal state of high functioning. That to me is what I think about when I think about personal resilience.
Yeah, and everyone has personal resilience, but it's at what level they do. How much can they handle those things? And it's those individuals that take the high resilience are always high performers, right? And the beautiful thing is that you don't like you can learn it. It's a trained behavior. So even if you have a low level of resilience, you can learn tools and techniques to become those high performers. When I think about that, I think about athletes, right? They are under constant stress with all the competition. I mean, their job depends on them performing well. Otherwise, they don't have a job. And so when I think about that, I'm like, well, how do the really good athletes perform? And those are the ones that take those negative thoughts and emotions that they get from the stress and competitive nature, and they flip it on its head and turn it into positive thoughts. And then it evolves into constructive, responses, which really ends up being effective results. So it's kind of a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research on that as we've been discussing this, and there's two athletes that come to mind for me. They weren't always the top picks, or the ones that were going to make it into the Hall of Fame, or anything like that. It was more about the fact that they never sat out of a game, no matter what was going on in their life. Ken Ripken Jr. is a perfect example of that. In fact, I've heard him say that, a lot of people think I had this rosy career, but what really happened is that I learned to cope with how to deal with adversity, how to get past it. And once I learned to do that, other things just didn't seem so hard. And I think that really is exactly what you've just said. It's that ability to move through the challenges, to move through the adversity. And that is really what resilience is all about. The other one I think about is Phil Kessel, known as the Iron Man. I mean, he was legendary when it came to resilience. He was diagnosed with cancer as a rookie. He returned. He played, never missed a game, first of all, played consecutive games. And even when his wife was having his daughter, he played the game, got on a private plane, went to the birth of his daughter, but just a different breed, honestly. And it's that resilience, I believe, that really sets you apart. As you said, I mean, that is the trait of a high performer. And it's this ability to what I call sort of approach life with a muted fearlessness, which I think both of these individuals did exceptionally well.
Yeah, so true. I mean, resilience is about consistency, right? And making
Right.
sure that you're leveraging those tools and techniques,
Yes.
to make sure you're maintaining a healthy life balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you think about uh, sort of good physical, mental health and that consistency. I'm kind of curious because I know we've spoken about that a little bit, but I'd love to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, well, one thing is as leaders, we know that there's just high demands all the time, and we need to work through that day in and day out. But on top of that, we have stuff outside of work. So for me, I'm a parent of four. And also, I'm at a point in my life that I have ailing parents. So I'm also a caretaker. And so when combine the being a leader at work, being a parent at home, being a caretaker, there is stuff going on every day. And I need to work through whatever is happening, right? And how to handle that. And one way that I know that I'm most effective is when I'm maintaining a healthy life balance. And that includes making sure I'm exercising, getting good sleep. I dedicate time with my family. And then at work, I make sure that I'm, delegating work so I don't have the weight of the world on my shoulders, as well as dedicating focus time. So I'm working on the business rather than in the business. And those are the things that help me, stay with the proper mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think about resilience conditioning, and that is what you're talking about. Resilience isn't something that we wake up in the morning and all of a sudden we are resilient. That's not how this works. It is a trained behavior, and it is about conditioning. So if you think about it, if you're training for a marathon, or you're training for a bodybuilding competition, no matter what it is, it's about the consistency of the conditioning, the consistency of that behavior. And that's what you've just spoken about. It's not just about how you approach adversity at work. It's about how are you taking care of yourself to be at maximum what I call sort of performance, with your body aligned, so that you are in a much more stronger mental state, physical state, to be able to cope with the stress, the challenges, and the adversity. And I think that, for anybody, listening today, is really the key, is that for all of us, we can be resilient leaders. There is no question about that. It is about it being a conditioned, trained behavior that we can build up, certainly over time. So I know we've got a new session coming up. What is a resilient leader? And we look forward to being with all of you next on our next channel.
Thank you.